where counties are failing to then talk about money that they've spent or not spent. And of course, this dog and pony show, this fiasco between looking for the Nairobi governor and not being able to find him. I don't know. Total number of the numbers that we're looking at in terms of what's going on doesn't look too fun. And that 25 other governors are not able or willing to show up between the Senate committees in terms of accountability for the monies that they have been given by Kenyans for certain things that they're then unable to account for. It's around those things that we'll be having conversations this morning. And joining us in the hot seat is Dr. Peter Mbae, who's Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs with DCP. Luxury over development, use and misuse of funds in counties. It's a big deal, and we'll talk about it this morning. Dr. Mbae, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Very well. A lot of things happening around us.
Indeed.
Everywhere. Issues of oil here, issues of combat demolitions overnight. I don't know why people have to turn against I don't know why governments have to turn against their own people. I've never understood. It doesn't make sense.
No.
You can't wake up in the morning. I mean, you are elected to empower the people.
Yep.
You cannot begin improvising people at night. Whatever it is, if you want to help me, let's talk, see how I can be helped. You want to do a 5-story market? Come on, let's talk. You don't have to do it at night. And I mean, these are the issues we have here.
He's shooting straight from the hip already, but let's temper things a little bit with today's program.
That's fine. That's fine.
We are
talking about the situation room. It is a situation. This is a situation room.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you've come in that stead. So let's look at some of these things and try to open up the layers of this proverbial onion. This week we're in South Africa. As you know, we go around the African continent. Every week we land in a different country. We've come back from South Africa this week. And this is what our proverb is for today. What you help a child to love can be more important than what you help him to learn. What you help a child to love can be more important than what you help him to learn. What do you make of that?
I had thought that when you learn, you learn everything, including love.
Right.
But what you teach them to love is more than what you help them to learn. Maybe this love can be taken in a deeper perspective of the passion or that deeper understanding of something. What you help them to love. Then that one will translate into more aspects of life. But what you help them to learn can be unlearned at some point of life.
Indeed.
But what you help them to love is deeper. It goes beyond many other things.
Value.
It goes beyond. It goes beyond all the shake-ups, because it's a deep ingredient. Something stuck inside the whole being. That would be my perspective.
Well, it's great. And it's one of the things about an opinion is that it's fascinating to me how the human mind works. That things that presented to people in the same room can be said differently. But just as important either way, and we can all learn from one another. So let's look at some of these things that we're looking at today. I mean, every day we're spoilt, and I don't know that it's a good thing, but we're spoilt for choice in terms of what to look at when the economy concerns the economy. Counties are now under fire. I mean, they've been for a minute, but it's a bit louder than it was before, that there is evidence towards, and this is coming from the chief auditor of the country, that we see that there's a lot of luxury spending. Control of Budget has also talked about the same thing most recently, that there's a lot of luxury spending, but unfortunately, development spending is not taking place. Yikes, doesn't look very good. What would be your overall about that before we get into the nitty-gritty?
Yes, my overall is this. Now, we have a problem because as part of the people who actually did the civic education for the new constitution, we were actually contracted by the committee of experts those years to actually go educate people about what is this about devolution, the constitution, and especially the chapter on devolution. And at that point, I want just to give my regard to my former lecturer, Dr. Mbae, who actually taught us about devolution. We were in class on this week, and he was killed the other week. He was actually my lecturer. And the passion, he understood, it's about transfer of power and money. Literally, get another government down there so that they can at least go to the villages again. That was the whole issue about devolution. So what is happening? The kind of people we have to do have no understanding about devolution. The people who are rushing to get these positions, senators sometimes, governors, they have no understanding. Maybe members of the county assembly. We need people to know what was this about devolution thing. Now, when the governors come there, one, they don't have capacity to govern. They have most of them have zero capacity to govern. And if you want to know indicators, it's very simple. Just look at 6 months later, once somebody is elected. Look at how they are doing automation of revenue. Look at how they do procurement. Look at how they pay their contractors. Look at how they hire. Look at how money collected, whether all the money gets to their accounts. Look at how they deal with HR. So they don't have the capacity. So let me tell you what it has become. It has become a rush for how much more money I can make than the other governor. So in 2 years, you begin a campaign because you think this governor is living very well. Can I also get there so that I can also make money? And so it's a cycle. Then people get upset. So within the 4th year, other people want also to come and become governors. So it's a whole list of corruption, nepotism, a lot of theft, grand theft literally. And like you said, very little service delivery. What is supposed to be the ratio? 70-30. I think you can confirm to me, I think right now over 50% of the counties have more money on expenditure, recurrent, than development. If I were the controller of budget, I would simply freeze that without looking back. And say, excuse me, please, this is what you are going to get. We cannot give you more. Manage with what you have. So yes, in a nutshell, before going to the nitty-gritties is this. We have a big problem of the issue of general. Now, then what happens? When they are called to the Senate, they begin stories. You know the way you are asked to account for something. Oh, I was passing by. I saw some dogs. I began running away. When you're told, why are you late to school? You begin stories. You know it was raining. I felt like the earth was coming down. So I couldn't leave the house. Because when you're told to come and account, simply, please, you are told, if you have nothing to fear, what do you have to fear? If I'm doing the right thing, for example, as a governor, I just come present my papers. So, but you fear because you know what you have done. Now, and this is a fear that I have myself, looking at this, the architecture of this country. Many governors, the feeling on the ground is that they feel they may be protected by some powers that be in this country. Yes, that's the feeling. The feeling is that because most of them they pledge loyalty a lot, to the presidency, they feel they are protected that side because they have come there and say the people who are calling us, they are calling us to harass us. So they land there to Baba and say, look here, these people are harassing us. And so there is some force leeway that you can go against the Senate. But I'll tell you this, if you want to say some people got money from you, bring the names. Don't come and throw words to try to run away. I can tell you this seated here. In a few months, once a new government comes, whether it is today or tomorrow, governors finally will have to be accountable. And unfortunately, you better go now, clean yourself when you're in power, because they will come for you after you leave. Governors, I just want to... Those cases will follow you long after you leave government. Right. So which is better? Just come, make yourself accountable. They are running away from accountability because of the theft and grand corruption in their counties. You said something that people have to go to daddy, essentially, and say, well, look, help me out here. But it seems a bit paradoxical because if these governors are elected positions, if Kenyans elected you, shouldn't you go back to the people or rather, shouldn't your allegiance be pledged to the people? What I meant... No, I understand what you meant. I'm just asking isn't that the way it should be? Shouldn't your allegiance be to the people of Kenya who've given you the vote? Now you're talking. Your allegiance should be the people who voted for you, if you are doing the right thing. But if you know you are not doing the right thing, if you know already there's a gap between you and the people on the ground, that you may not be elected, you must look for new partners. You must look for new people to hold you on. That's why they are hanging on the presidency, hoping that the presidency will protect them against the Senate. But then if you say that means that because it's kind of like math here, if the people of Kenya elected you as a governor, yes, and you don't go back to them when you say, okay, people, I have a problem here, or people, this is not going to be enough. Can we have a conversation about what we must do? Which is actually how democracy works. Yes. Now, if you don't do that, and you go to the powers that be, daddy in this case, to then say, oh, protect me against these people, isn't daddy complicit as well? Now he is. That is what we are talking about. It's a web. is a web. Let me tell you, corruption and all these things, they call each other. All the people who are thieves and corrupt, and they think that they have everything, they think they are deputy Jesus and super gods and all that, they all are sons and daughters of impunity. So they call each other. That is why, like you're saying, what would I do today if I'm elected? I would go to the people, just be with them and make sure you are powerless with the people. So that whatever powers come, you are clean in the Senate. Whoever comes to try to shake you around, like you have seen some of the counties, where even the president goes and the people are like, this is our governor. And he tries to frustrate the governor, but the people are with the governor. Those are good illustrations. Maybe but they are 10%, my brother. Those cases in Kenya, they are about 10%, not more than 15%. Where the people, the governors, are doing so well, the people are like, this is our governor. But what about the others? Oh, they go crying there saying, these people are harassing us. And then surely do. You cannot murdering people. You cannot come and say people are extortionists. They did all that. You publish names. Really, we are sinking too low. You cannot do that to people who are senators. These guys are just asking you questions. Yeah, you come with stories which cannot be confirmed. That people are. How can you say that somebody is tough on you? Okay, you wanted them to come and laugh with you and maybe give you a cup of tea and coffee when you're supposed to be doing for money. Let me tell you this today. Unfortunately, if we continue with this trend of the counties, this is unfortunate. In another 5-10 years, the counties will shipwreck to a halt. Counties were meant to be centers of production. They are now centers of consumption. If there's a delay of money from national, we are going to close the county. So what? We are supposed to compete in terms of production so that County Kisumu, County Makueni, what can I produce? What can Makueni produce? And unfortunately, that was the spirit behind the KIPES. Something to come up so that there's some sense of, people competing to produce. But what happens? A lot of things fall into place because there are some people who are threatened by the KIPES. There are some people who felt they are not the ones who came up with the KIPES, and KIPES was running out. There are some people who are going around mobilizing governors to do the KIPES. And so it died. So what's happening now? Counties are now consumption centers where every governor comes, where can I steal more? Okay? The other one did 3-4 buildings in some center. Can I do 5? Right? Now, hiring. Now, let me tell you what's happened. Every governor comes, they want to hire their own people. Never mind about the wage bill thing. That's why the expenditure, the current is going beyond the other one. We have a problem with the issue of governance in the counties. People don't have capacity. And I want to say this again. What is the solution I want to suggest to us? Going forward, we must be very careful on the quality of leaders we elect.
Can I ask you though, Dr. Mbae, when we talk about capacity, it's linked to capability or it's linked to the wherewithal. It's clear that resources are available. So when we talk about wherewithal for resources, we can't say that's a reason. When you talk about capacity, are we talking about that the people who have been hired in these positions then have been hired outside the scope and their ability, so they can't actually do the job? Are we talking about lackluster approach to doing things? What are we saying when we say counties lack capacity for governance? What does that mean? I'm so confused.
Let me clear, not counties. Counties have the capacity. It is the governors. Because you can, when you are president or the governor, you exercise executive power.
Right.
You can't hide. You can't run away. Your true character and personality will come out like this. You can't run away because these are executive positions. Now, it's not counties that lack capacity. No. The people in the counties have a lot of capacity. They know how to, the engineers are there, there are education people there are people in water, there are people in all the 10 departments, right, that are in the counties. But what happens when the governor comes? They are supposed to provide policy direction. They are supposed to come and steer the ship, right? Now, when I mean they don't have capacity, and I'm very clear, I didn't say education. I said capacity to govern. Do we make a joke about governance? The issue of governance and leadership is a virtue. Is a virtue. There are people who have no idea. They just thought that becoming governor is very nice. It's very extravagant. It sounds nice. And they just look for the position. But let me tell you what happens. For you to become a governor, you must understand something called systems and structures and institutions. You must understand how things work. You must first of all swear into free corruption completely and small things. Interested in small things about you want to have a tender, you want your sister to be a nominated MCA there, you wanted your brother also to be the head of revenue there. Nepotism, number one. Number two, you cannot come and say, I don't want to work with the team that was there by the other governor. I want to get my own people. So that you begin bringing confusion. And very importantly, very importantly, what we see about the governors today, they have their team of people who they give jobs and the ones they pay. The most people who rely on loans, the small people who do jobs of 5 million, 10 million, 7 million, that is only a job that somebody wants the whole year. They cannot be paid because they select who to pay. So now these people who come and do those jobs, they go get 20%, 30% cuts. That's how these guys are making out of money. So what is the capacity? No one thing do that you are elected to come and help the people. Serve the people first, okay? Just serve them. The people we have here are merchants. We have a lot of elected leaders. I think 70 to 80% who are business merchants. Them, they are like me, I don't know about service. And they don't have the heart of the people. That's why after 1 year, simply, people just make sure the spirit of the people just run away from them. By capacity means get to a position where you understand it's about service, number one. It's about helping the people. Simple. Actually, to put it this way. About knowing that I have been given an opportunity to empower, to make the lives of the people better. If you understand that, then you must be schooled. Let me tell you. By being schooled, I'm not saying you go to university. You must be schooled in the art of governance. Schools means you cannot come and try to crash everything around. What does the law say about procurement, about accounts? You must understand government. You cannot come from the bush.
So are you
and
saying
then you want to become a governor from the bush? You look at this. Prato told us when we used to study the issue of political science and government that for you to become a leader in governance, those years in the days of Prato in Greece, ancient Greece, you had to be taken through many years of being watched. Because virtue is a gift God gives to very few men, not everybody. So people have been coming from the bush. You feel you have some 200 million, 300 million, you go and become a governor. I can tell you what will happen is this. You are going to steal. You're going to be summoned by the Senate. You're going to be taken to court. You're going to lose that position through one term. You go back to be a beggar. Even your days on earth will be shortened. Because you came to say, don't go joke with the people. If you want to do business, go and open some business hardware. We are going to buy from you. So go and do import rice or sugar or something.
So essentially what you're saying is that the proverbial politician should not be the one who governs a county. Hold on to that as you answer. And then why is it that we have then particular counties who seem to be doing their job? Kisumu, Makueni. I will use Makueni as an example with Governor Mutula because, interestingly, at the Senate, they didn't even need to talk to him for 5 minutes. They basically said, we're fine. And this is coming from the chairman of that particular committee who said, you know what, Makueni, we just needed you to number some of your documents. But in terms of being above board, it was clear that they didn't even need him and his team to come to Nairobi. So Makueni, one of them, Murang'a, another county where you can then see that things are falling into place. It talks about Kisumu in terms of what has happened over the last years. When Governor Oparanya was governor of Kakamega, it was obvious that things were happening there. So why is it that, okay, this is not a very good number out of the 47 that we have, but why is it that you can then see a stellar performance? And I don't think we need to clap for them because they're doing their job. This is what they're supposed to do and what they're being paid to do. If they do a good job, there's no need to hold back congratulations. But it's not, they seem to be the shining examples out of, it's not even a quarter of the number. But how come some can and others can't? And these are politicians within their own right, but they seem to have
very good. That
first question that I asked then, should you not have a politician
as a governor?
As a governor.
I'll answer these questions very quickly. One, to be a governor, you need both. You need to understand politics and governance. We have seen people also who come from top up there. They were CEOs. They were people from up there. When they become governors, they sink. Because they have no understanding.
Experience next level nourishment. Nivea Nourishing Cocoa. Now with 100% pure hyaluron. It moisturizes for longer than ever. When our skin looks this good, we show up more confidently. Here, and here. New Nivea Nourishing Cocoa. Now with hyaluron and cocoa butter. Skin is for feeling it. Nivea is for skin.
So you need to understand both. That is a very important question. The people who are succeeding, they have a background of politics, but they are good in governance. Please understand that. It has to be a balance. Now, I've told you about guys who became governors. They were CEOs somewhere in private sector. They don't know politics. Now look at the other side. Extreme. We have people who are streetwise, but their work is to somersault in the streets, doing some very petty stuff that get you embarrassed. That is extreme. They have no, listen, they have no governance.
I'm trying to imagine the picture because we see pictures every day.
Yes, thank you so much. They have been there. You know them. You know around here. You know people who just say, I mean, if there's a river here, instead of moving the people, move the river. Until we are like God of heaven, we are not listening to this. We are not in Kenya. You feel so embarrassed, especially experts on leadership and governance. And then somersaulted in the name of I am for the people. Now, that is too much. They are not schooled in the art of governance. They are not civil, right? You cannot manage that way. Now, look at the balance. The people you have mentioned, most of them have been politicians.
They are still in
But they also have had that gift and the capacity of governance and management. They make it well because they understand the two. They know that politics and government is two sides of the same coin. It is politics that make governments because people are elected through politics. But when you get to governance and live to the Bible, you must balance this thing. Get hold, make sure you maintain the politics. But you must now make sure you are a governor. You must govern. You cannot always be there to please everybody, but you balance. Look at what is happening nationally. There are people who have been saying that they are experts in politics for the last 1 year. But the moment they took the Bible, unfortunately, they didn't know, they were not schooled in the art of governance. That's why you come and say, I'm the one who has come, I am the most popular person, you guys have been waiting for me, I'm the Messiah, you have never seen anything like me, I've been here for 50 years, because I am deputed to a super Jesus or something, and then, look at this doom. Because you think you are very clever, you come and abolish education, you abolish everything, you abolish health, you want to overturn everything else because you are the one who has just come.
Are you giving, Dr. Mbae, are you giving examples of things that have happened?
Yes.
Or are we in the spirit of...
Everybody can see what I'm saying. This is what has been happening in this country. I'm talking about nationally. You come there, but because you are not schooled, I keep on saying the problem we have in the country today of Kenya, and I can swear that by the Bible, is lack of capacity to govern. People are very good politicians, but they don't have the capacity to govern a country.
So two things, Dr. One,
yes.
Where do we get this capacity? Because we have, the Constitution allows that you can run for office as an independent candidate and or through a political party.
Yes.
Now, the political party, therefore, carries out nominations and you give somebody who is deemed to be having the kind of leadership qualities. This thing I think you're calling capacity to ultimately, carry the ticket and run and get elected.
Yes.
So are we therefore saying that our political parties have also not done us justice to be able to be the point of call for vetting the kind of people that have capacity? One. Number two, you've been a decision maker in Nakuru County, right? I think at the county assembly. Everything that happens at the National Assembly, including the Senate, particularly the Senate,
yes.
We have PICs at the county assembly. We have PACs at the county assembly. Before governors get to the Senate, are we saying that county assemblies, these committees are not doing their work at that level to clean and sanitize their governors and ask these questions that the Senate is asking before they get to the Senate at the county assembly? So does it therefore mean that the county assemblies also do not have capacity? And where will they get this capacity?
That's very important. Let me tell you this. And just to finish up a few seconds with what you have asked. Now, when you see the ones you have mentioned here, Makueni, Muranga, Kisumu, I think 10%. I think we can only talk about comfortably if you look and you see their parameters. Automation of revenue, HR 70 to 30 ratio. We know all these things. And I'm glad, like you said, Kevin, also you have worked with the counties. I've done 10 years. I can understand county government in the morning. I did both. Both the executive, county assembly, and then I did national. So I knew. When they talk about governance, these are things that and of course, I mean, just like Plato and Aristotle, I mean, we went to study politics and government. I mean, we know a few things. You can see the problem of leadership. The problem of leadership in Africa. I can tell you today, as I put this point, the problem we have in Africa is not malaria. It's not HIV/AIDS. It's not the issue of poverty. It's a problem of leadership. I can tell you that from the presidency to governors, to BOM, to cattle dip, to that, all this is a problem of leadership. Why we don't have the right people to lead? That's a big problem. But let me answer what you have said. Now, I want to say this. Why did I say that a governor must be good politically and in management? You are elected through a political process. A political process which involves political parties. You must be sharp enough to align yourself to the political party of the time of the movement. When you are elected, also go and say, by the way, I was not only good in making sure that I align myself in a political party, get a ticket, be elected in Nakuru County, but when I took the Bible, I was also good in governance. You must keep the balance. Don't come and tell us you're very popular, you're going to go on independent. Like how? You must understand the people. You must know where is the country going. Which party do I align with? That is not sycophancy. No. Remember, it is the people who tell us which parties to go to. Let me tell you, that's very interesting. It is not us. The people, if the people are moving toward this direction, don't go and say, you know me, I'm clean. And by the way, there are governors who are purportedly doing well. Let me put this today again. They are doing well in governance. In their work, they may lose their positions because of lack of alignment, again, to the political realities of the time. That's also another point. They are doing very well right now. And you know, we have examples, don't we? 1987, okay? The people we are celebrating today, James Orengo, I mean, we can mention, this is history. Anyang Nyong, they said, no, we don't want this issue of sycophancy with the our family. We are going to go on SDP. What happened? They lost. What happened? They had to come and align. Please understand my words. I'm a professional. I'm not talking about sycophancy. I'm saying alignment with the political realities of the regions. Now, to answer your question, let me tell you what happened to do. In the county assemblies, it is a very dire thing. Actually, one day, God helping me. If God helps me and become a senator from next year, I will dedicate part of my time to build capacity for the county assembly members. They are sat on. They are completely obliterated. They are completely, you know, they operate in the hands of the governors.
I'm sorry. When you say I'm still stuck on this thing.
Yes.
Capacity. When you take this capacity that you now want to build for people, how did they have the capacity to? Because remember, again, that MCAs are elective positions.
Yes.
They had the capacity to then be able to speak to Kenyans to say, I can actually go and represent you as a member of the county assembly. I can do that. I can ensure that the things that are supposed to be happening with money at the county level will happen. I can ensure that I will represent your needs and also your securities at the county assembly. Now, for some reason, we are saying when you become an MCA and you're essentially supposed to keep people in check, you lose the capacity. What happens? Do you walk into the county assembly and somebody gives you a drink? Are you mcheled? What happens? I don't understand, because you have the capacity when you're convincing Kenyans to get the vote.
And you get elected.
So now what capacity are you going to build when you get into the county assembly? What happens to people?
Let me tell you what happens. And a very, very good question. When you go to the county assembly, all your money is controlled by the governor. Let me start from there. When the money comes from Nairobi, that money is run by one man called the treasurer, the county treasurer, who is mostly the CC or director of finance or something. Now, any money that county assemblies get has to go through the county governor. So, number one, you don't have money as an MCA to go and deliver any projects on the ground.
The president last year, just before the devolution conference, signed the financial autonomy for county assemblies.
It is not.
Is it not operational?
It has not been functional. It has not been functional. I can tell you, the little we went a bit in Nakuru, we had something called World Development Fund that dictated that all the money that comes to Nakuru, for example, the money would be divided 45% would go to the wards. And it was low. That's what helped Nakuru for some time. In other places, the MCA has to come. You are the one who is punctured with issues of water and roads and ECD and everything else on the ground and agriculture. You have to go and beg. Now, if you are not in line with the governor, I can tell you, the governor will go to your place and say, me, I don't see this person. I don't understand him. He ran away from the ground. So, do you know what happens therefore? 90%, the biggest, what you call turnover, happens in the county assemblies. 90 to 95% don't come back. Why? You are elected, like you said, but the pressure on the ground, people don't see the governor every day, by the way. They see you daily. So they tell you about water, about schools, not schools, of course, bursary, right? Never mind that bursary is another story. That is, everybody wants to have a share. Yeah? Water, all these kind of things, and roads, especially when it's raining. They begin saying, you're not working. Remember, you don't have your money. You have to go to the governor and tell them about that. Now, governor says, if I hear you are talking against me or taking motions or asking questions to the executive, there are all those committees. I can tell you, there's a lot of committees, like 20 in the county assemblies. There's a budget. But now, what happens, the capacity we are talking about, and let me clear this, dude. Let me tell you what I would do, because we're looking for solutions here. I would sit with members of the county and tell them, this is what, it's not, you don't have to beg governor to send development to your wards.
I'm sorry, Dr. Mbae, but that you have to say that, I think, is the fundamental problem. That members of the county assembly, because now we're talking about the position that deals with the people directly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that you have to tell members of the county assembly that, you know what, guys, you really don't actually have to be subservient to the governor. That information still needs to come out, I think, is a problem. People don't know that. As in, somebody has to be told, Kevin, you know what, when you go to do your job today, you actually don't have to obey or kiss the ring of the governor. Yeah. That information has to be shared in the first place, I think, is a problem. Because what that tells me is that members of a county assembly, as they're asking for this position, and remember, we start at the bottom. If they're asking for these positions, that means they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. Because if you believe that you're subservient to the governor, you should not be in that position, first of all. And that if you should be called for a committee meeting, this, that, the other thing, and you think that you've come to kiss the ring, you should not be there. Because who are you representing when you go as a member of the county assemblies? You're representing the people. You didn't come to serve the governor. And that if the governor can tell you, if you speak, I beat you. I mean, for God's sake, that's what we're dealing with in a democratic space. And we've got bigger problems than what I've ever imagined.
I'm agreeing with you. That is a problem. Actually, why we are here, why governors feel, why are you disturbing us in the Senate when we have sorted the county assembly?
Because if I go into a meeting, for example, and the governor tells me, should you dare speak, Kevin, then you have a problem. How will I come tomorrow and say, Governor, you spent 3 million shillings on a Christmas tree in Bungoma, you shouldn't have done that? How do I have the wherewithal to approach that when I can't even speak up in a meeting? Do you see?
Now, that is
what... we're talking about flamboyance here. How do you ever expect it to be curbed?
That's what we are saying. Exactly, it's a problem we have identified as people who have been working with the county government, and that's why we are saying, what is the solution? It is simply to make the members of the county assembly know, but it's not easy. You must then change the financial infrastructure. Make sure they don't depend on the executive for their operations. Have a kitty that goes directly to the county assemblies so that you can go but again, look at the law. The law says there shall be 2 governments. One national government and the county government. So when I talk about capacity, this is what I mean. Let the people, I give you an example with Nakuru. What we did, we simply did locally. That when the money comes from Nakuru, 55% will be left by the governor, what we call flagship projects, projects that cut across wards. But this 45% would be divided in a formula of population, order, the size, to the wards. So that automatically I knew I have 30 million at least. That, of course, you are not given as an MCA, but it's there for you. It is, link-fenced. For example, my ward. I would go there and say, members of my ward, what are the priorities we have this year? Water, ABCD, and roads. So the capacity we are talking about is to go literally and make sure we change the infrastructure of how monies go to the counties and how wards and members of the country access it.
It won't work if you're still dealing with the same people. I'm sorry. And that's why, in my opinion, a hard stop is needed. That you go back to factory settings. That's why when your phone is acting up or whatever, it normally tells you, okay, you could switch it off and turn it on again, or you know what, you can reset the thing so we can start from scratch. Yes. You cannot build capacity on an individual who has already shown you that they're not there for that thing for which you want to build capacity for. It is not possible. And that's why you have terms like drain the swamp. Because how do you say, okay, fine, we want to make things work again. So you go, you put in a new carpet, you put in a new office, you put in new chairs, but you still bring the same people to inhabit the office. there's a problem. It's fundamental. We need to then be able to say it very clearly that the people who've been involved in making sure that they can sweep things under the carpet, the people who've been involved in making sure that there's complicity when it comes to county bosses in terms of the governors, the people who've turned the other way when money is being spent in a way in which it's not supposed to be spent, the people who've passed laws that they know are detrimental to development and to the economy should have no business coming back to office.
I agree with you. Now, let me tell you what happens. When going around, because I move around a lot, you find 10 aspirants for MCA. Then one guy fights or one lady fights. They get that position. I'll tell you today. Let's admit some facts, though. They don't know what I know. Let's admit. I mean, that's why sometimes there's something called induction. They didn't know what I know. Now, luckily for me, by the time I was becoming a member of the County Assembly, I'd served 5 years in the executive. I had an idea. If I became this, I would start here, do that. They didn't know. Many of them don't know. Let's be fair. That's why, to be very fair, and this we talk because we are teachers of, leadership and governance. You pick them up and quickly tell them, this is how, and that's why I'm saying, it is very good to have people with experience doing these things. You fetch somebody from the bush and you come and make them a senator or a governor from the bush. They have no idea. They have no experience. So for me, having been there and there, and having known, for example, how national government works, I'll come and tell members of the council, look here, I'm here as a senator for Nakuru, you are the first call on the issues of oversight. I'll not come and check about ECD toilets and school first of all. Can you ask questions? I'll actually pick what the county assembly reports have done. So you have capacity because we have to do this. We are already in a hole. Already in a ditch. What you are going to do, come and tell them, look here, let me not be bothered. Can you first of all ask the necessary questions about Nakuru? As a senator, I'll pick them up when you are done, then go engage them in the Senate and other issues. Now, the problem we talked about capacities is, I'll give you an example. Please, when you're elected an MC also, and that's where you are coming to. Also, just pick somebody with a bit of understanding, just a bit, so that even my work of coming to mentor them becomes easy. Number two, when you are elected,
but you're not coming. This is I'm sorry, you're not coming to mentor. No, this is not an adolescent 14-year-old class club somewhere. This is dealing with issues of survival. You're in the operating room. The heart has stopped beating. The paddles are on. This is not a question of let's have a conversation while the thing is on its deathbed. This is not about let me teach you or mentor you. This is you do the job or the patient dies. You do the job or Kenya goes to the dogs. And I think that we need to have a real conversation. You can't be coddling people, not with the situation Kenya is in at the moment. You can't beg people, oh, let me rub your head and do your job. No. It's work that needs to be done. It needs to be done now. Furthermore, you went to people, because these are elective positions, these 6 slots that we're talking about, MCA, Member of Parliament, Woman Rep, Senator, Governor, President. You told Kenyans that I can do it. And not that I can do it. I promise you I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We mollycoddle this thing a lot. We say, give them a chance. They're first-time MCA, they're first-time MP. No. You came and you said that you can do it. We hope that you would have read the Constitution. We hope that you would have read the county laws and that you would have practiced it a little bit in fear and trembling. So when you have an opportunity to do it, guess what? You fail once, you're out. This is not where you get a supplementary year that you can come back. There's no take 2. It's now or now. And I think for too long we've dealt with, they had a 5-year term. Let's see what they can do. No. Like I said, the guy is on the table. The heart is open. You need the surgery now. You don't have another opportunity. And we keep playing with this thing as though it doesn't matter. And then we want to say, okay, let me mentor them. No, Dr. Ari. There's no time for mentorship. Mentorship is when you were in the back room before you came to ask people for the vote.
And really, Dr. Ari, what Andu is bringing up is very, very paramount. Because that's why I was asking you about the role of political parties. There are areas in this country where the political party nomination is the election. The moment you have the certificate, you are as good as elected, whether there are as many as 50 other candidates, But the moment, like where I come from, as long as you already have the ODM nomination certificate, you're already in either MCA or governor.
That was then. We are not sure about going forward, but anyway.
Going forward, we shall see. We are close to that moment. So what, therefore, do we need to re-engineer that? Because if you look at, for example, Article 104 of the Constitution, it allows that citizens can recall their leaders, within a certain set amount of time. But we do not have a law. Parliament, National Assembly has failed to pass a law to give effect to Article 104. So what is this recourse that citizens have? What is this thing that citizens can be able to do?
When the guy's not doing the job.
Media, With those who are, on the table, the surgery is going on, but nothing is seemingly going on. Some of them are being, looked for to be arrested. They hide under tables, etc. Do citizens therefore need to go and demonstrate and say, toka nje, unataka kushikwa, umeiba pesa zetu? What must citizens do to be able to reclaim back this thing called sovereign power?
Thank you so much. Let me answer that this way. We are now 14. I think from tomorrow will be 15 or 14 months to the general elections. I will tell you this. I have no hope of anything that can be done now. I can tell you this. They don't ask me about, because when everything is rotting from the up there, 80% of governors, they're running away. And one man is running away because he knows he can be hid under the dress of someone because they have signed a deal. So it's that's why he decided. I mean, surely, if he was on his own, he would have done something else. And it's very embarrassing. I can tell you this, Kevin. For now, it actually, what I would say, let us learn from the mess we are in about 14 months to come. It's simple. By looking at what we are saying, let's look at the kind of quality of leaders we are getting there. Please don't blame political parties. Me, I will say this, and I will say this now in my official capacity as a Secretary for Planning. We are very clear. We don't want to go and say, no, you are more educated than this one. We have 10 candidates, for example, running for MCA. We think you talk more, or when we come to the ground, you mobilize more. We see many DCP caps and all that and T-shirts. We have told the people,
or you
give us. We have told the people. But you give us. Let me tell you.
Some of them give you more money, and you just
no. Let me say this again. By the way, we are very clear on this. It will be foolhardy for any party to take money from a weak candidate, give them a certificate, because for sure they will lose that position, because the people will elect another person who is popular on the ground. By saying popular, please, we are pushing this back to the people. When you go somewhere, and this I'm saying now, putting everybody on the basket. Let the people go and decide which member of the county assembly they want. When we come with the party, let them go nominate that person. We are going to give that the ticket. On issues on who is the best to lead in this ward or the other, or member or constituency or county as a women rep or senator, we leave it to the people. Because, like you said, it's the people who said, you have convinced us enough. Political parties slowly end there. What we can tell you going forward, and we have learned a lot of lessons, is also, as a party, we will not go to the issues of trading people's interest, with who does what and who gave that and all that. Let people give their choices. But do, please. We said very well. Don't ask me, because I mean, looking at it from national to ward, going all the way to the villages, this system, most of it's corrupting if it's not corrupt. We are waiting for 14 months, hoping we'll just be alive, to get to the next elections. Then we should be talking about, because God willing, we'll be here in September next year. What we should be saying, do we have better quality leaders?
So, question:
who understand county governments? Who understand, who have the capacity, like you said, you are elected because you told people you can do something. Make the commitment I can give, Kevin, because we are here to be solutions. We must be progressive. We must be progressive in saying, do we have better members of the county, better MPs, better senators as we move on?
So, Dr. As a point of recourse, do you think that DCP, 2 years into the next election or 14 months into the next election, a governor has misappropriated funds, an MCA has failed to deliver, a chief officer somewhere has ran away with money, do you think that DCP as a party can take measures to suspend a governor, or to say you are elected on our ticket and the people we don't think the people are happy about how your county is being run? As a party, is it something that would concern you in any way?
But you just said the law talks about recalling. There's nowhere the law talks about a political party withdrawing the nomination of an elected governor.
Maybe I can help Kev with that question.
Please.
No, I not help him. To buffet his point. The party supposedly has ideologies that it operates on. Right? Now, if one of your members because we would assume that those are the 10 commandments that you live by, those ones that you told us. If one of your members in an elective position like governor, for example, is accused of, I don't know, not showing up for Senate summons, or putting up a Christmas tree in September for 3.7 million shillings, things that would go directly contrary to the ideologies of the party. One would imagine that it's for these things that people spout all of that, and telling us it's for the people, blah, blah. If it was for the people, wouldn't you censure your member and say, excuse me, whether you're governor or God himself, you're under this party and we don't like this thing that you're doing. We would ask you even to step down. Why don't we ever see such a thing? If truly parties are on these ideologies that they tell us that they operate on, I think that's what...
I like that. Let me say this, and I'm saying this on the record because we'll be here. We'll be here going forward. In my thinking, I want to say this here because we have sat many meetings and there are some things we hold dear. The people are very angry. And they're going to hold us into very high standards even as we get to government next year. I'll tell you this today. If we cannot be associated with some kind of behavior as a party or a coalition. You cannot misbehave too much. Because what that does, Kevin, as you said, is going to mess our name of the party or like the coalition. You know, you just be told, hey guy, man, according to what we are seeing around here, please, we are just telling you as one of us, this is what you should do. Yeah. And if you don't do you know what happens? In a very nice way, you simply make it public. The party, this is a statement to say we are not, we don't agree and we disassociate. That is very important because then what happens? It will be very embarrassing. Let me tell you about this issue about the capacity even of governors and senators and women reps. You go there, say you are a popular party, right? And you have 20 MPs, or rather 20 senators, 20 governors. You have 100 or so MPs. Then they don't have capacity to deliver. I can tell you the first hit will be on the party. Because they will be saying, the question is, had you checked about the capacity of this person before you give them the ticket? So yes, there is some responsibility to the party. But when, as it is now, you get to some incestuous relationship where you don't know who is who, which party you are in, and where you are, and what is happening here. There's some bravado. You have seen some bravado. I could see that very fast because I like seeing what others cannot see, or what we are seeing about governors today. They pledge allegiance. They have promised some powers that they are going to help them to mobilize votes next year. That's why they are protected in courts. But they are killing the members of the county assemblies. I can tell you again, next year, 95% turnover. Many people, and you see they are helpless. MPs can do this, play around here, but you see, they have some resources. They can control, some electricity.
So it's the resources that allow
people... It is the issue of resources.
It's the resources that essentially allow people to be effective in their position.
To be beggars. The why people become beggars is lack of resources to control. Let me tell you what happens. Member of the county assembly, member of the National Assembly. Do you know what they do? At least they have CTF. They can play around with. They can go get money from Kura and Kera. They can go get money from electricity. Let me tell you. So they can, even if sometimes they are not very good and very popular and all that, they can say, you see, we bring you bursary. And it's very sad. One day we'll discuss it. It's so sad when I hear MP saying...
I think Kenyans are seeing through that already. I think it's very clear to a lot of Kenyans that it's been used as a tool.
Like, every kid here in their school, you get money. Come on.
Don't you think it's the time has come? And I think that, for the longest time, Kenyans have been told that, you need to change the way you vote. And I think Kenyans are actually in a woke moment. Isn't it time that would-be elected members of parliament, members of the county assembly, senators, governors, president, realize that they have a duty of care when it comes to the vote that you have been given, the resources that have been put under your care, and the sovereignty that has been given to you, the responsibility that has been delegated to you by way of the vote. It's about time that Kenyans are demanding a little bit more than, well, see, I gave you bursary. No.
Yes,
it's got to go a lot further than that because they will be removed. Do people think along those lines, or are we still thinking about, let me get this position so that I can also have my turn? Because the bell is tolling. Kenyans are at a place whereby they are very vested in their governance. Are the people who want to be leaders ready?
Do I hear you? And I'll say this. The only way to have this progression we are talking about, Kevin, is about doing. We can talk about this now 15 years, talking about the new constitution and devolution and all that. The only way, if you ask me, let's progressively get people who fit to say, aha, a good example of a good governor. Like what we have now. We have about 10. No, I don't think we are 10. We're about maybe 7 or 8 that we can say. If you take the parameters, we are somewhere. Look at the senators. Out of the 67 or plus, we can say, wow, we have seen 10 who understands what. Because you don't have to talk about this thing. Issues on leadership, you don't talk about. You just do. So we are saying progressively, can we have in the next time, out of 47 governors, at least 20 who understands governance? Then we can say, wait a minute, next time, we must elect a governor like this county. Then we go increasing and improving the capacity and the quality of leaders we are talking about. We are saying, for example, we want next time members of the county assembly, and it's a very good challenge you have thrown to. Of course, they are passionate. That's where they want to serve.
But for what?
But also, if the system failed them, Kevin, we must be very clear. You are a governance person. If the systems fail the members if the people who are completely downtrodden, misused, underpaid, and misunderstood.
Are you talking about Kenyans or are you talking about MCAs?
Members of the County Assembly. Let me tell you.
Many would say that you can swap Kenyans for those adjectives that you've just
good.
given.
I understand. Now, what I'm saying, we have leaders here. We have to make sure we go progressively to where we want to be, right? If I want, for example, if you want senators, we have laws of the senators. We must progressively go to people who understand how our senator lives. So to answer your question, yes, people are angry. I can tell you it is so bad. But the question is also, can we ask the people, the 28 million, the 22 million we're asking to go and register, kindly, the next thing you do once you are registered, go think about who are you going to elect the 6 positions next year. Because I can tell you, political leadership determines your life. Determines your life. Besides God, the other power given on earth is for kings who rule you. They will determine a lot of things.
As we head towards the closure, I'm just wondering, because you earlier on said that in Nakuru County during that time, you had an agreement with the executive that 55% would go towards the executive and 45 would be given
of development funds,
ward fund, etc. So as you execute over the 45%, who was doing oversight over the 55%? Is it not money therefore that governors would be at leeway to use and run around the way they wish?
It is a county assembly because that's all money that comes to the county. It's a county assembly that is supposed to oversight. Now the issues came. The government will come and say, "I give you your money." You check. Now a lot of gaps again about this other oversight. That's what I'm talking about, and that's one work. Somebody has to do that work. You are in charge of every coin that comes. Now that's where confusion comes.
Right.
The government is like, no, stories come. You write letters asking for information. Who was a contractor? What's the procurement? And things just go like that. You don't get answers and all that. I'll give you an example. Just maybe 20 seconds. In Nakuru, 2.1 billion is allocated for roads in every ward. Then one day, the governor wakes up and says, I have a new idea. I want to pick all the money, give it to NYS. They're the ones who are coming to do roads. There's no public participation. The county assembly never passed any motion. Nothing. Those are kind of impunities we are talking about in governance. We had to go to court to stop it.
Right.
Because you cannot then go, there are contractors on the ground, there are people who bought machinery to go and do the roads. You want to go give to NYS who don't have machinery. They have to go and hire. And then bring it to Nakuru. So it's all about now. Do you ask a question? Who are the people who are going to come as members of the county assembly to simply raise those questions and say it cannot work?
It has to be different from crop of people from the ones who are currently there.
Yes, I agree.
That's for sure. We want to thank you for being here with us this morning. Definitely for shedding light. And that's the thing that conversations do, is that they shed light on particular issues so that you can make decisions about them into the future. Dr. Peter Mbae is the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs with the DCP, has been here with us this morning. Thank you for being here. Until the next time, it's 8:08. Good morning.
The latest news from around.
In a world drowning in half-truths, in whispers that masquerade